Yes, it is finally here, the WLTOYS 124019. Now, as you know, I'm a massive fan of the 144001, so it made sense that I actually got one of these and featured it on the channel, and I have got a lot of plans for this one. Now, this isn't going to be an unboxing video today. This is going to be a 3 essential items, in my opinion, that you should really do before you even take one of these out for a run. I did exactly the same video for the 144001, and that is actually one of the most popular videos on my channel. Now, if you do want to see an unboxing video on one of these, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. There's a good friend of mine called Big Beard RC. He actually has one of these as well, and he did an unboxing video, so be sure to check that out. If you would actually like to see what you get in the box, what is included, what the manual looks like, and all that sort of stuff, be sure to head over there and check that video out. Now, today we're going to look at 3 basic tasks that you can actually do on one of these, which is going to help preserve the life of some of the components. It's also going to make it feel and drive a lot better as well. Now, the first thing we're going to actually look at is the shocks. One of the issues with the 144001 was overfilled shocks or underfilled shocks. Obviously, if they are overfilled, they're not going to be able to compress properly. And if there isn't enough oil in there, they're not going to be able to operate properly to dampen all the impacts. So you are definitely going to want to check to make sure all the shocks on this are set up and working correctly. Okay, so I have already removed one of my shocks. We're just going to quickly give this a quick check. Now, like I said, this does compress fine, and this does feel completely fine, to be honest with you. Probably don't even really need to take this apart, but I'm going to show you how anyway. If you want to check your fluid levels in there, see how much oil you've got in there. If you're struggling to compress the spring, actually struggling to compress the shock all the way down, there's a good chance there's too much oil in there, so you can pour a little bit away, and you should be good to go. But it's very simple. We're just going to take this apart quickly. Now, the caps on the top can be quite tight. Before actually recording this section of the video, I did use a pair of pliers just to loosen that cap up a little bit, just that I wouldn't struggle too much when I'm actually recording this part. But yeah, as you can see, that is a little bit loose now. So I'm just going to take that cap off. As you can see, the fluid level in there is absolutely fine. Everything's going to compress as it should, and that does look very good. Now would be a good time to change the fluid over. If you wanted to change the weight of the oil that you want to run, now would be a very good time to do that. It's definitely worth going around all 4, checking to make sure the oil level is okay, and you're not going to have too many issues. So yeah, do that part, and then go on to the next thing, which is going to be checking out the diffs to make sure they are greased properly. The second thing we're going to do on this is to actually check the front and rear diffs to make sure they're greased properly. Now, another common problem on the previous one was the fact that the diffs used to turn up quite dry. Now, there used to be a little bit of grease in there, but nowhere near enough, or nowhere near what there should be, which again is another common issue, and that's why we're going to address that today as well. Now, you may be absolutely fine. If you take yours apart and you find your diffs are absolutely fine, there's grease in there, then that's okay. Put it all back together and you're good. But doing the diffs on this and, you know, just putting some grease in there, getting it all greased up and nice and ready to go, is definitely going to preserve the life of the diffs, especially if you do decide you want to go brushless on one of these later on. That added power is going to put a lot more stress and strain on the diffs, so it's definitely worth doing this little mod, filling them up with some good grease, and hopefully making them a little bit longer, hopefully making them last a little bit longer is what we actually want to try and achieve with this. Okay, so the grease that we're going to be using is some of this multi-purpose high melting point lithium based grease. This didn't cost a huge amount of money. You don't need any of that fancy hobby grade stuff. This sort of thing will do absolutely fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take out the 4 screws, as you see there. That will allow us to separate the diff, to get inside, to fill it with grease. Just get a nice small screwdriver that fits quite well. We're going to take the 4 screws out, and then we are going to check the condition of the diff, and we will stick some grease in there. Pretty simple, pretty basic, and this is definitely going to help to preserve the life of your diff, because these do tend to come fairly dry from the factory. It was a common issue on the 144001, and before I even actually take this apart, I've got a feeling it is going to be exactly the same on this, but you never know. Okay, so as you can see, there is a little bit of grease in there, not enough for my liking. You may get away with what is actually in there already if you're just going to run the brush system that it actually comes with. If you're intending to go brushless, or you may want to go faster in the future, I definitely think doing this little mod is a good idea. But, you know, get the grease in there, get it packed in. It's definitely going to help preserve this diff, because that's nowhere near enough in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure everyone out there will agree. It is a must-do thing to both this, the 124019, and the 144001. Okay, so all we're doing is packing the grease in there. It's probably going to be enough, to be fair. Okay, I'll just put that there for a moment. Just going to wipe the excess off my finger. And then it pretty much is a simple case of just putting it back together. Check where the screw holes are. Position it. Now, I like to put enough in so that when I do fit it back together, it all comes out of the screw holes. That satisfies me. That makes me feel happy that I've actually put enough in there. It's nice and packed full, and that's definitely going to help preserve this diff. Just going to wipe that bit off. Now, screwing this back together, correct procedure is to do sort of like a cross pattern. So we're going to get all the screws in. We're going to not tighten them down all the way, and then we're just going to do a little bit of a cross pattern just to make sure this is sitting nice and flush, and not going to have any issues. Okay, so now all we're going to do is make sure this is pressed together nicely, and it is. Just going to go around and tighten each one up. We're going to do that one first. We're going to go to the opposite one, tighten that one down, and then to that one, and then to that one. And that should be us. Pretty good to go. Now already that feels a hell of a lot better. That feels really, really smooth. And that's exactly the sort of thing you want to be going for on your brand new 124019. That's exactly the sort of feeling you're going to want to get out of your brand new diffs. Now the third and final thing we're going to do on this is actually take a look at the steering. We're going to make sure the toe and the camber is set up properly, and hopefully this thing is going to be really, really good before you actually take it out for its first run. Again, these things are recommended. I would definitely do them if you really do want to preserve the life of your brand new 124019. So the next thing we're going to take a look at today is the toe and the camber. Now this was a little bit of a controversial topic on the last video, the 144001 essential items that you should do. A lot of people said a little bit of toe is good, a little bit of camber is good, helps the cornering and all that sort of stuff. That's fine, I absolutely agree. Now my intention with this is to do speed runs. For that reason, I do want the steering to be as straight and as true as possible. I do feel that is going to give me the best grip, and it's definitely going to make it more stable at speed. If you're not looking to do speed runs, this may be a step you want to sort of skip out, or you may want to do this anyway. But if you, for example, your toe is out a little bit, you can adjust one simple thing. It involves taking one screw out of one of the tie rods there, and then either screwing in or out, depending on what you want to do. In this instance, this wheel looks absolutely fine to me. This is nice and straight. This one does look a little bit off. And I believe all I need to do is undo the screw. We're going to loosen it out 2 turns, and then we're going to screw it back in, and we're going to see if that makes any difference at all. It's a very simple, quick and simple thing to do, and it can make a lot of difference when it comes to straight line stability, and just making sure the steering is nice and accurate. So all I'm going to do is screw this out. That's 1, and that is 2. Now we're going to screw this back in, and we're going to see what this looks like. Now a lot of people said this isn't something you want to mess with. I'm going to turn it around quickly just because I can't really see what I'm doing. A lot of people said that you should just leave this. It's absolutely fine from the factory. This isn't the case. I did find with the 144001 as well, I did have quite a lot of toe out on one of the wheels. Now that is looking a lot better, as you can see. That is looking a lot straighter. There's a little bit of camber there, but you know, to be honest with you, I'm quite happy with that for now. That is how you would adjust your toe and your camber. Very, very simple. Pretty much a one screw sort of thing. You either screw in or screw out, loosen or tighten, depending on what you want to do. Try and get your steering as straight and as true as possible, and that is going to help you in the long run for a little bit of straight line stability. But again, this is sort of optional if you're not looking to do speed runs and you are just looking to do your usual sort of bashing. This may be a step you want to skip, but I definitely think it is something worth mentioning, and it definitely belongs in this video. So there you go then, we have taken a look at the 3 basic tasks, or the 3 essential tasks you can actually do on the 124019 before you even take it out. It's definitely worth doing these, especially when it comes to the diffs, because a lot of people do tend to run the diffs dry, obviously as it comes out of the box, and then they do face quite a lot of trouble not long after. Now, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Now, I do want to point out, a lot of people on the 144001 video that I did actually pointed out that when it comes to the toe and the camber, I should have actually left it alone. A little bit of toe, a little bit of camber, you know, I can't remember the exact comments, is actually quite good. Yes, if you're taking some tight corners or you're on a track, I think a lot of people are buying this buggy because they want to do speed runs. The 144001 was a very popular speed run machine. I actually did a brushless conversion on it myself and actually turned it into a speed run machine. So I'm pretty sure, bearing in mind there's a little bit of extra wheelbase, you know, this thing is a little bit longer. I think this is definitely going to be very popular with the people that like doing speed runs. So it's definitely worth taking a look at the steering, because you're going to want to make sure you are going in a nice straight line. Everything's working correctly, because these things are capable of some serious speed. We're going to leave it there today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Take care.